Hi guys, welcome to the Goods post-credit scene. I'm Manny.
I'm Art.
And today we're going to talk about some Mummy.
I liked it.
Okay, tell me, why did you like it?
Well, it was actually fairly entertaining.
Well, you're probably the only one that does, because that movie is bombing hard right now. It stands to lose $95 million right now.
Wow.
Yeah, it's awful. Anyway, one of the biggest critics of this movie, besides the horrible Rotten Tomatoes score that's on, is director John Landis, director of horror movies, classics like American Werewolf in London, and even directed Michael Jackson's Thriller.
Oh, those are pretty good films.
So he's saying that this movie, you don't need to have $120 million budgets. You know, the monster movies have been around since the 1940s and 50s and 60s with guys like Karloff, Lugosi, Lon Chaney. You got these classic guys, you know. Practical effects was great, right? Yeah. Now, you throw Tom Cruise in the mix, because Tom Cruise is the star of The Mummy. Hell, he's even in the front of the freaking poster. And it turns into a Tom Cruise movie.
I can totally understand where that's coming from, but we have to stop and think. We don't really have horror movies, right? There's been a gap from horror movies for quite some time. Now, I don't really like to go based off Rotten Tomatoes. First of all, most of the fans, I should say, of The Fate of the Furious, right? Oh, it's such a great movie. I'm going to line up and buy all these tickets. What for? It's like ridiculous, outlandish special effects that's happening. Storyline that's not even believable, but people are lining up to see it. Why? Because they're sheeple, right? But this is completely different. This is, hey, let's start something different. And so people just start bashing on this without even really actually giving it a chance. The moment you go in there with preconceived notions of, oh, this is not going to be any good, it's another Tom Cruise movie, I hate him because he's going to be shirtless at least in one scene, then you start bashing it.
He shows his mummy there.
Yeah. He didn't rub that. So
I think I'm agreeing with Landis, actually. I'm agreeing with Landis because there's so many movies where it's the actor overshadows the content, or it overshadows the character.
I can see where he's making those points, but they're still falling flat. Look, this is an old guy saying, when I was back in my day, we used to go like this, get off my sidewalk, watering the sidewalk, right? So I can see where his points are coming from, but ultimately, man, give this movie a chance, and actually, this is going to set off a new chain of movies. We haven't had a horror movie. We haven't had a new something different. We had a resurgence of Freddy versus Jason, right? And then Freddy in space, Jason in space.
How about McAvoy in Split?
That's another one, but that's not even a horror movie. That's more like suspense thriller, something. But this is saying, look, this is going to be generating all these movies. You can spin off from here, spin off from there, spin off from there. People really have to just accept it and just say, you know what, I'm not going to go with any preconceived notions of what this movie's about. They have to be open eyes. I mean, honestly, if people are bashing this movie and they're saying, and they're praising The Fate of the Furious, really? Like, The Fate of the Furious was a crappy movie, but people lined up to see this. But they go in thinking, oh, this is another movie. This is that. I'm not going to like it. That's a crappy film. Obviously, they haven't given it a chance because they're not going to see the movie.
Well, when you separate the two, you separate the two of those old school monsters compared to the new ones. You know, not the new ones, but the ones that took over in the 80s, like Freddy, Jason, Leatherface, and so forth. You know, you're right. We don't have that anymore. We really don't. They got to go back to the well and start freaking digging up old stuff so they can freaking reboot it and try to extend the mythology and all that crap, right? With this, the mythology is already there. Brendan Fraser's freaking Mummy is kind of part of this, actually. They could not put Brendan Fraser in because he lived in a different time, and he would have actually been like stupid old if he was actually
he'd be that old man.
So they couldn't do that. But regardless, the audience is just not there for this type of movie unless they concentrate and focus on the content, on the characters. You saw more of Tom Cruise and all this other stuff than you did really The Mummy, the girl that played Sophia, the girl that played the Mummy. So in that regard, it is a Tom Cruise movie. It is 100%. Russell Crowe shouldn't even freaking been in this movie. He has no business being in this type of movie.
Look, they're trying to build a new franchise. Maybe they did a few things wrong. They brought in actors, maybe too big of an actor, that it overshadowed the movie itself, right? If we would have chosen a no-name, if they would have chosen a no-name actor, would we have perceived the movie the same way? Are we giving it the same fair chance, or only because there's Tom Cruise, he overshadows it? This movie sucks. I'm not going to see it.
Well, like I said before, it's like Jennifer Lawrence not putting the makeup on because she doesn't want to be Mystique, but yet she's Mystique, but she's not Mystique because she wants to. She's anyway. So the movie was budgeted at $125 million. Okay, so far it's made $294 million. The reviews, plus the $195 million production costs, $150 distribution and marketing, it stands to lose $95 million. So it's pretty much a bomb. They're still going to greenlight it. From what I understand, Tom Cruise was actually a diva on the set. He was micromanaging everybody, looking over the director's shoulder, did not give anybody a real chance. So in that regard, Universal knew it was going to be crap. That's why, they took a gamble on it. It was a bad choice, but the show must go on.
There's still much to build off of. There's a strong base. There's all these little bits here and there that you can build off a movie. You don't necessarily have to have Tom Cruise in the next one. That's what makes this thing so great. Obviously, greenlight it. We don't know any of the. You don't have to use a big name actor in any of the other scenes, right? Or any of the other films, I should say, because of what they're building. This was just a base. So they used Russell Crowe. So they used Tom Cruise. Maybe he was a diva. At a certain point, you are going to be a diva. Everybody is after a while, right? Especially Aspen in the back. But give it a chance. Go watch it and then make a decision. People are basing their decision off of what people are saying.
So it's doing decent in Europe, but not as good as they want it to be. It turns out that Europe is going through a heat wave right now, and a majority of the theaters in Europe don't have air conditioners.
Yeah, that could be.
So people are not going to watch this movie because of that. So yeah, that's another reason that's contributing to it not making any money. This is only the beginning of the Dark Universe. We still have Javier Bardem as Frankenstein monster, and we have Johnny Depp as the Invisible Man. So we'll wait and see whether or not they're going to actually elevate it and make it a little bit better. So tell us what you think in the comments below. Let us know if you agree with Landis or if you agree with Art over here.
Just look, comment. If you haven't seen it and you don't want to see it, comment why you don't want to see it.
Hit the like button there. Hit the subscribe button and let us know what you think. For Aspen in the back, I'm Manny.
I'm Art.
And we'll see you next time. As far as this is awful. I need to do it again. This is awful. I need to do it again. I need to do it again.
Keep it even shorter.